Greetings, my fellow Jedi and fellow acolytes of the Force. Welcome back. This is Matthew, aka the Nucleus Cyborg, aka Jedi Master Cyborg, and in this video, we're going to be comparing the Generation 2 Elemental Nature Lightsaber. Let's see, scoot back just a little bit. There you go, give you a better view. To the Generation 1 Elemental Nature. Now, I did a video by itself of the Generation 2 or Generation 1. This is Generation 1. I did a video by itself of this lightsaber because I did not have the Generation 2 one at the time to compare it with. So, but I want to give you a quick overview of this one and then of the next one. And we're going to compare, we're going to break them down and all that good stuff. So, stick around. All right, my fellow Padawans, welcome back. I have them broken down now. I have one on this side, the Generation 1 on this side of my desk here, and Generation 2 on this side of my desk here. And so, for a quick follow-up, if you have not watched my Generation 1 Elemental Nature Lightsaber, this is the chassis. For so long, I have been calling it the skeleton, but what is this really called? And I don't know why it took me that long to ask, but yeah, this piece is called the chassis, and of course for elemental nature, I chose the green the green kyber crystal. So this is either Qui-Gon Jinn. I think I got Qui-Gon Jinn in here, or it could be Master Yoda, or it could be. See, what's the other one? There's two of Master Yoda. There's Qui-Gon Jinn. And then I think Luke Skywalker. It could be that one. This is Generation 1, so it's not. I don't know. I can't. It's not going to be the new ones, obviously. Which I do have all of their kyber crystals too. I've collected all the kyber crystals from Walt Disney World, or the Disney company. So I don't have the battery pack in this one. As I've figured out is that when you have the batteries in here, and then you put in your crystal, it activates the lightsaber. Even without the switch turned on and your blade activated, it draws power from the batteries. And so, you can leave it on display for a month or so, come back, want to show your friend or something like that, try to activate the blade, and the batteries are dead. So I usually leave the battery out. So, but let's just rebuild this Generation 1 lightsaber back real quick. These are, I noticed a theme in this, between these two. It seems like I like wood designs because wood is pretty much like it's on both. So this one saved there. This one okay. That was fine. Now this one. Okay, move it up. Okay, there we go. These are the two activation plates that I chose for Generation 1. And so, as pretty much everybody knows by now, you just they have these two squares right here, the red and blue, and on these you have either red or blue, and you just match these up. They're magnetized, and they pop right on there, snap right into place. There we go. And this piece I bought here it's kind of got leather on there, and let's compare as we go. This one also, the new Generation 2 one, also has, I got with leather on there, but it also has this bone design. And and these are the same height. Now, I noticed that some of the pieces look different. And as I found out in my last video where I did the Peace and Justice, is that the chassis between generations are different. One of them's taller and slimmer. So this is Gen 2 right here. And then this is Gen 1, so they're taller and slimmer. And I did notice before is that the battery packs don't mix. So you have to keep the Generation 1 battery packs together because they do not. The Generation 2 battery packs do not fit. They're not compatible. So you gotta keep the Generation 1 battery packs with the Gen 1 lightsabers and vice versa. So let's move on. So putting this back in there into place. This is the bottom, what I chose for the bottom. I kind of think that you would, your bottom one needs grip a good grip. So it's not leather, but you know, it's designed to look like leather, and so I just think that would be a good grip. Okay, then we take this one, and like I said, I must like wood. I must like these wood designs because my Generation 2 has a lot of wood. This one has bone. The Generation 2 has a lot of bone. I guess the whale bone. I guess. But then, like I said, those just for comparison's sake. So slip this back on. The copper rings go. You know, this one's obviously on the top. This one goes on the bottom. There went the blade that's propped up against my desk for this, or for the Generation 2 one. So if you heard that bump. Okay, this is the emitter that I chose. I noticed that these are definitely look different, but they're also, look at this. This one's taller. The Generation 2 one is taller. It's got this bone design. It kind of like goes up, but and so does this one. It's got this little nip right here that goes lip that goes up. But the comparison size, one of them's like significantly taller than the other one. So I guess we can get measurements later. They might come out with different measurements. But this is the emitter. So right here, goes right here. Okay, again, like the copper little ring is on the bottom. Now, then for the pommel, the Generation 1, I got the Rycorn tooth pommel. So just slip that down and into place, twist it, and there you go. That's the Generation 1, and I also kind of like these ring designs. I guess they kind of are supposed to resemble trees. I don't know, but I kind of like that. That's why I picked these pieces. And like I said, it's wood. It seems to be, and leather. These leather grips. It seems to be kind of a theme with Nature Elemental, and at least the ones I chose. Okay, then we take the chassis again for the Generation 2. Again, I chose the green kyber crystal. This is going to be Master Unduli, or it's going to be the Master Skywalker. I'm not sure, but it's going to be of the Gen 2 kyber crystals. So take that, and then we take the activation plates. Again, though, the wood and bone design is pretty much featured in this lightsaber. So these are the activation plates that I chose. And as it's turned out, so leave this one here, this one up. Okay. As it turned out, from the Generation 2 lightsabers, you got 4. So two of them, I've got the activation plate that has the symbol of the pin that you get with these lightsabers too, and 2 of them that doesn't. As it turned out, for the Peace and Justice, I had just decided, so it took me a while to figure out if I wanted the one that had the symbol on it, Peace and Justice, or if I wanted the one that didn't. And I had just decided to have the one that didn't. I mean, probably the morning of, right before my build. And actually, it turned out to be a good choice, because even though you get 2 choices, this and your other choice, I did have 2 pairs, but they were the same pair of activation plates for the Peace and Justice. So like I had decided, but I didn't have much of a. But at the same time, it's like I didn't have much of a choice. So, but I did have a choice on this. These are the ones that I chose for Elemental Nature. So just as before, we match up the squares. So blue on blue, red on red. Snap into place. Okay, and we take the bottom grip, what I chose for the bottom grip. Again, it's kind of got the leather design, kind of like the Generation 1. But it's also but the Generation 2 has got this bone strip. So I would guess that Even I mean, yes, the pieces are metal, yes, but you know, thinking that maybe that this piece is kind of made of bone, and then they wrapped they rough bone. I'm guessing rough, and then that's why they would wrap leather around it. So this is the one that I chose for the bottom. Oh wait, this is the bottom. This is the bottom. Go up, twist it into place. Bam. Okay, and this is the one that I chose for the top. Again, kind of bone with kind of like wood or leather or wood. I guess wood design. It might actually be leather because it's got like these I guess you would call like nails or pins in there, kind of like I guess like holding the leather in place or something. So that goes down. Okay, we'll do the pommel first, and so again, look, wood is a lot in this Generation 2 lightsaber, Elemental Nature Lightsaber. So screw that down, and of course I got this kind of thing on the pommel because as I've said before, I prefer this. If you get that little clip that clips onto your belt and you can hang your lightsaber from, you get this, or you get the D-ring, and if you use the D-ring, it has a little thing that slides out, and you can put your lightsaber, clip your lightsaber there. But if you like put it on your right above your knee on your leg, the D-ring, it just swings back every time you take a step, and these things are heavy, so it bumps up against your leg, bumps up against your knee, and it's just uncomfortable. So I like these. It holds it in place better. Okay, then we got this emitter, and this emitter is, I mean, we've already seen it, but it's taller than the other emitter. I like this one. It's got the little bone lip again, but it's got either the wood design around here, and it's also got this like little open portion right there. So that's pretty cool. I actually really like the design of this Elemental Nature lightsaber. Now, I said in my last video that now that I've got all 8, Generation 1 for, Generation 2 for, all 8 lightsabers that you can build, at least of right now, I might go and try and do a video where I try to like break it down to one lightsaber that I would carry. And I'm thinking that it's probably going to be this one, because this is really cool. I like this design a lot. I think this is really cool. Okay, excuse me. Okay, we're going to get a measurement of these light. Oh, here we go. Here's my handy dandy little tape measure here. So Generation 1, or just this is Generation 2. Excuse me. Generation 2. We've got almost, what is that? This is almost 14 inches, just short of 14 inches, Generation 2. Okay, so put this one aside a little bit. Generation 1, probably going to be longer because it's got the right corn tooth on it. This one and the lip here. So we got, this is, oh snap! This is almost exactly 14 inches. So they're pretty close in size or in length. So I guess with these two kind of over lip designs from the emitter and the pommel, and yeah, again you got this little lip here on the Generation 1, and then you got the right corn tooth. I guess all together, they kind of, come out to about the same size. So that's pretty cool. All right, my fellow Padawans, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, if you like, comment, subscribe, I very much appreciate it. If you built one of these, tell me down in the comments and tell me which one that you built. I noticed somebody when I was heading home in the airport. I was walking to the bathroom, so I was hoping to catch him on the way back to the gate. But I saw them out of the corner of my eye. I didn't see where he sat. So I saw somebody with a bag. I was going to ask him which one he had built. But so I did one recently. If you want to check it out, no, it's got no views on it yet. Where I did the pins that you get with each lightsaber in each build, comparing those to Generation 1 and Generation 2 pins. So if you want to check that one out, and I've just posted a comparison of the Peace and Justice lightsaber. So if you want to go click on that and check that one out. And now I've compared the two Elemental Nature ones. In your comments, drop a comment. Which one of these do you like better? I think I do prefer. I think I do prefer the Generation 2. Like I said, the chassis is a little slim. Is taller and slimmer. So I actually think that these feel better in my hand. Oh, I got it upside down. So yeah, I think these fit better in my hand because they're a little bit slimmer. So I think I do like Generation 2 better. But I'll do another video of that where I get all 8 lightsabers together and try to narrow them down. Go by the kind, of course, which one of the Peace and Justice, which do I like, which one of the Protection of Defense, what do I like better, and so on and so forth. So if you want to look forward for those videos, and then also as I mentioned, I just got back from vacation, and so I earlier this year I went on vacation to went on an Alaskan cruise, and so having to move from airport and move between countries. Alaska is technically in the is part of the United States, but we had to stop in Canada, so we did have to. It's weird, I guess, but we did have to cross borders, so I did have to have my passport. I did not packing for crossing borders and for a cruise is a little bit different. So I did get new luggage after we came back because I had these the soft kind of luggage which I had gotten from my college graduation back in 2015, and so it had since it's soft and that kind of like clothy material, it had accumulated a lot of soot or dirtiness going through the checkpoint, and after your luggage goes under those flaps, like you never see it again until you get back. You don't know what happens to it, and then seeing some videos about how the people that load your bags onto the plane and how sometimes sometimes they're not careful at all. They're not careful at all. It seems like they don't care. Like they just throw your bags and around and all that sort of stuff. But then you got some people that it could look that they're not caring about your luggage, but then at the same time they're kind of like trying to go as quickly as they can, carefully and quickly as they can, because they are on a time schedule. And so now the new luggage that I got that I used on this trip, I used a Noble, which is hard outside case, and I got all 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. This one for this trip, we were only going for 4 days parks, and then we were travel on the first day and the last day, and so I didn't have to check them, but I took the smallest one, so I was kind of limited in what I could pack, and still limited in what I could pack. And then, like I said, these lightsabers I couldn't take home. I had to ship them home, so I didn't have enough room. And I already had 2 bags, so I couldn't take the lightsabers in their cases. That's more check or more than you can carry onto the plane. So I used what's called the Nomad Lane bento bag was what I used to go through security with. I'm on the fence about that because I don't know. I saw a lot of videos after I got back from Alaska about it, and again, this is not a racist comment. Like I said when I did a little review about that bag, this is not a racist comment, but they were all women that were hyping up this bag, and I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it because it was useful. It's a nice bag and all that other stuff, but I still don't know if I'm going to use it again. I'm not only used it. I'm not only used it for this trip because I'm buying another. I bought another bag. It's it's too nice of a bag, and two, it's a shoulder strap bag, not a backpack. So it's hard. I couldn't take it into the parks. Uh, it would just have been awkward. I think I could have got it through uh, park security. Cleared through park security to use in the parks, and to put my stuff in there that I carried or carried through the parks. But it would just have been awkward, and so like a backpack, I think is more appropriate, and I'm thinking about using that backpack I just bought. Is Star Wars themed, so I can use that through security and uh, for when we go to the Disney parks again and the Universal Park next year. And we went to Epic Universe, and I'm telling you, it is epic. It is epic. They've done an awesome job. I can't wait to go back, especially since screensaver just went on. Sorry about that. Especially since I didn't get to do everything I wanted to. I've said before, and I've written in my journals and all sorts of stuff, and I've said to myself so many times, I'm going to take more control of my vacation next time. Uh, I know for this vacation, the only thing I said that I wanted to do was build these two lightsabers, so I could get them out of the way and be done with it, and do no more lightsabers, and say I've built the Generation 1, Generation 2, I'm done. I'm not spending that much money anymore. Blah blah blah. But when I got to, especially when I got to Epic Universe, I was like, wow. And that was the first time me being in there. I was like, wow, I gotta go, I gotta run. I gotta do as much as I can. It was crowded, so, we had to kind of like pick and choose. And, the other two, I did have three other, park goers or members with me, of my family, but, that they one of them, this was the last park day in the Epic Universe, so we had already gone to all four parks, park hopping the last two days before that, and shopping at Disney Springs. So she was like, her legs were like really hurting her, so she got into the park, and she kind of like don't really know what she did, but either sat around, shopped, ate, whatever, and the other two of my fellow park goers and I, but I was kind of like following them, where they wanted to go. But I had told them I wanted to go to Super Mario World, and we didn't get there until late afternoon. And again, as the park was crowded, and over an hour wait for rides, we didn't get there until like we only had like 3 hours left, and so I had to be more forward with them. I was trying to be nice and patient, but you know I tell them the first time, this is where I want to go. I want to go to Super Mario World. They're like, oh, patience, man. Wait, and just patience. We got 9 hours, and then again, I'm like, I let it go, and I try to be patient. And a few more hours goes by, and I say, don't we need to start heading over that way? Lines are long, and we're gonna have to wait in lines. And they're like, oh, patience, man. We got 5 hours, And then again, I try to swallow whatever pride or frustration, whatever else, and hours go by, and it's 3 hours until park closing, and I'm like, guys, we need to head over there. That's what I wanted to do. I told you that at the beginning of the day, and they're like, patience, we got 3 hours, and I'm like, 3 hours. We have to get over there because, as we've seen all day, we got almost an hour wait for each ride. 3 hours, that's nothing if we're gonna have to wait in rides. So I'm gonna take more control of my vacation next year. I'm going to look ahead, like I used to do, and then if they don't want to go there, be there at rope drop, I'm gonna look ahead. I'm gonna be there at rope drop. I'm gonna use my time more, as I see it, more efficiently and better. So that's just one thing I was taking away from this vacation. And I know I'm getting older. I don't. It's hard for me to admit it, but I can't go as much as I used to. Actually, it's kind of funny. The first day, which was that we were there on vacation. It was a day after uh, flying in, which we didn't get until late. And so I was, I thought that was, they said, originally said that was going to be a down day. And so I was looking forward to getting to the pool or whatever else and just kind of like relaxing and recovering from the day of travel, the night of travel, and then building up some energy for the next day. The first day was going to be two park hopping. They decided to go to Disney Springs and shop, and we were walking around all day, and so my legs were were already feeling tired. Where my feet were already hurting, and the next day we go to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. A whole day of walking again, and my legs were like, legs and feet were like screaming in protest. But I had to do it again the next day, for Animal Kingdom and the Magic Kingdom, and again my legs and feet were like screaming in protest. And then the last day of park going, which we actually went to Epic Universe, something happened. I'm not sure if the shoes, because the shoes that I had brought for the trip were shoes that I usually only wear when I go to the gym. Well, it's not really a gym; it's a fit body boot camp where we use a mat, and we're all walking on the mat, so we have to have clean shoes. So these shoes I usually only use for when I go there. But I brought them because they're good shoes. They help support my ankles and have good padding and the soles of my feet and all. When I washed them when I got back, they're ready to go again when I go in the next couple of days back to sirens or something in the background. Back when I go back to the parks, or I'm sorry, I used it for the parks, and I washed them, and so when I go back to Fit Body Boot Camp, they're nice and clean. But it was funny that last day, actually at Epic Universe, of course, it made sense that everybody else was feeling tired, but for some reason I wasn't, and my feet were like, yeah, they're I can feel that they've been used all day, but I can keep going. So I don't know what happened, but I guess it might have been the hype. It really might have been because I'd never been to Epic Universe before as the first time. It was epic. I mean, it was so epic. What I loved before I even got on the rides is that when you go into Epic Universe, you have this big arch that you go under, and it's got a little tunnel inside, and it says Epic Universe. You walk into this tunnel, you're walking into the Epic Universe, and then similar to Magic Kingdom and the Main Street. Main Street leads to that circle where you can branch off to the different lands. Well, similar to that, after you get through the first arch, Epic Universe, you reach the center where you got off the other four arches on each side, and so you have the one arch that says, Super Mario World, and you walk again that you have an arch that says that, and then you walk through a tunnel. It's like the tubes and the tunnels and the plumbing tunnels that Mario goes through in the games, and so it was just very cool. And again, every land had one of those, and it was really cool. I mean, really cool vacation. I guess you always learn something when you go on vacation. You always learn something about what you want to do differently and stuff like that. So that's my takeaway. Now I'm starting to ramble and get off target, and when I do that, I tend to keep going. So. But this was mainly about these. So I'm gonna end here. So like, comment, subscribe. Tell me which one, if you built one of these before. Tell me which one of them you liked, and I'll see you in the next video. Next video I think I'm gonna work on and post is that the new backpack that I bought that I'm going to use. It's kind of got a Star Wars theme to it. So I think I'll be doing that next. Thank you for watching. May the Force be with you. Have a great day.